With shooter season in full swing and next-gen bearing down upon us, we thought we'd take a small break to have a look at a couple of indie titles. First up, Lilly Looking Through.
In this point-and-click adventure, you play as Lilly, a little girl whose brother Ro is kidnapped by a nefarious piece of sentient cloth. And of course it's up to you to save him. Lilly! There's very little story outside of that, no real dialogue, so you're pretty much left to piece together what this world is all about all on your own.
You pretty quickly find a pair of goggles that let Lilly see into and interact with what I assume is the past, before this world fell to pieces in some sort of apocalypse.
It's a beautiful looking game though, isn't it, Bajo? The environments all have that handcrafted feel, and I was always excited to get to a new area and switch between realities to see the differences.
Yeah, it's such a good looking game, and it's a shame that the puzzle design isn't that good. I just found most of the solutions were a case of trial and error, which wouldn't be so bad if Lilly didn't move so slow. Usually, you have to get her to flip loads of switches and stand on buttons, and it just takes ages for those animations to play out. I just found it was always halting the experience for me. Just hurry up!
I didn't mind the feel of it, Bajo. I think it sets a really calming and deliberate pace. I also liked how Lilly carries no inventory, so you're solving puzzles with just whatever you see in front of you. And there were a few clever uses of the goggles and some of the solutions. Although I do agree those last couple of puzzles were pretty obscure.
Yeah, I struggled a bit with this, Hex. As pretty as the game is, it is also quite short, so I'm giving it 5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I liked it a lot more than that. I thought it was a charming adventure, though I agree it is very short. I'm giving it 7. Next up, the old schoolery of desktop dungeons. This is a deceptively deep little 2D roguelike that lets you blast through top-down dungeons in short 10-minute bursts. This was surprisingly addictive, I thought.
Yeah, me too. Let's break down how it works. Basically, each dungeon is broken up into tiles and filled with monsters, loot, power-ups, and of course, a boss. Monsters don't move and will only hit back when you attack.
Every time you start a dungeon, your character starts at level 1. So you go about hunting down low-level mobs, leveling up and tackling tougher foes until you can eventually take on the boss. If you're brave, you can try and take on mobs that are maybe 1 or 2 levels higher, but you'll need to use your magic and attacks wisely if you want to beat them.
But it's easy to tell if you're going to win a battle because there's a handy little panel which tells you if your next attack will be safe, will win, or will kill you.
Yes, but it's actually a very tricky balancing act. Our ventures ended in failure more often than success, I think. Health potions are rare, but for every tile of the dungeon you uncover, you get extra health and mana. So it becomes this balance of exploring and monster slaying to scrape by. Get it wrong and you'll be left in an unwinnable position.
As we mentioned, you do start with a fresh-faced level 1 character each time you enter a dungeon. But instead of leveling up a character, you upgrade and improve a little town, unlocking new buildings that provide you access to various boosts and new races or classes to take into your dungeon crawls.
There's a good steady stream of unlocks too. You're always getting a little something after a successful dungeon crawl. You constantly have a new way to tackle dungeons and you've always got a little quest to follow. And I love that.
Yeah, me too. I never enjoy these games when I first start playing them, but somehow they always manage to get their hooks into me, and I like the upgrades and I like the retro feel to it, so I had a great time with this. I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I can see why they call it desktop dungeons, because it's the kind of game you'd have running at work and then alt-tab out of when your boss comes around. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. And now, here's Goose.
I alt-tabbed a Battlefield.